What's going on, everyone? MikeO back doing another Allen Ginter autograph collection showcase. This is part two. Did the first part a month ago or so. That was all top loaded cards. So obviously that version didn't have the biggest names. This is the magnetic version or portion of my collection. So a lot of these cards are from Topps Archive Signature Series, which I'm a huge fan of that product. So there's a mix of lesser names and some big names. You can see one of them on screen, probably the biggest name right there. And coming up, hopefully in the next few days, I will do another part of the showcase, which will be the slabbed version. So a lot of really solid names in the PSA DNA collection there. So I'll have that. And I also am going to have a part 4, which will be cards that will be getting slabbed at some point. So appreciate everyone who joins. This will probably take me a good 20 to 30 minutes, so I won't be interacting. I am doing this live because that'll be a little quicker. I'll try and interact when I can, but will not be a super interactive video. Mostly a showcase as I show off some of these sweet looking cards in the Allen Ginter autographed PC. So we're going to start off actually with a few that are not in magnetics, but these are pack pulled cards. So I do have an Ian Happ rookie. So a few years ago in 2017, they did 3 cards in Allen Ginter full-size autographs. They did Cody Bellinger, Ian Happ, and Christian Arroyo. So here's the Ian Happ. So it's the full-size. Most autographs that come out of Allen Ginter are minis. We have a few others sitting around here. We have a Darren Ruff, who's a Philly. MikeO Franco. So these were pulled off to the side. That's why they were not included in the last video. So we have some Phillies, part of the Phillies PC plus the Ginter PC. This Jorge Alfaro is from Ginter X, which is a black version of the product, which is usually Topps.com exclusive. Here's a nice Paul Goldschmidt. We've got Max Fried, who's coming on strong for the Braves. Andrew Stevenson. Mets legend David Wright. Had a fabulous career. So Josh Donaldson pulled this in a box a couple years ago. So sweet card there. Another guy who's had a brilliant career. Evan Longoria. Another perennial all-star type of player. Appreciate everyone watching live. Vintage Oddball Cards, Connor Sports Cards, Chris M, Charlie Davis, Andrew C. What's up, guys? Hopefully everyone's doing well. So Ryan Zimmerman had an amazing career with the Nationals. Obviously kind of topped things off last year with the World Series victory. So Ryan Zimmerman, one of those guys who will go down as an all-timer for that particular franchise. Francisco Cordero, he had some nice years as a closer. We've got Jeff Francis. Josh Outman. That one bouncing around a little bit. So Josh Outman, he was a Phillies prospect. He was part of a trade. He was sent to Oakland in exchange for Joe Blanton, who played a really nice role for the Phillies in '08 when they won the World Series. Got Alex Cobb. Mitch Moreland. And finally, Maury Wills. So that's a really nice one there. So we got through the top-loaded cards. Let's get into the magnetics. So we'll start with card number 1 is Edgar Renteria. So a lot of these are serial numbered. They're buybacks. They're signed by the players. Topps authenticates them. They put them in the magnetics. They're part of the Archive Signature Series product. And usually quite affordable. So I'm really, really happy about this. One of my favorite products of the year, honestly. It's not great to break. I will break some for fun, but awesome to buy singles. Here's Edwin Encarnacion. Had a very underrated career. His career numbers have really started to pile up, so nice looking one there. Here's another Edgar Renteria. I will pick up multiple versions of players, especially if they're cheap. I mean, Renteria is one of those guys. He actually was a really good player. I believe he was World Series MVP for the Marlins back in '97. Was instrumental with the Cardinals, I believe, as well. So had a really nice career. So I'll pick him up cheap. Here's Lou, sweet Lou Piniella. Nice blue signature with that Cubs uniform. Steven Piscotty. Sonny Gray. Really talented pitcher. Pitched well for Oakland. Struggled a little bit in New York. Kind of got back on track a bit in Cincinnati. JD Martinez. One of the mistakes the Astros made roster-wise, letting this guy go for next to nothing. Actually, I think he might have just been straight up released, if I remember right. Here's Cecil Fielder. Love this card. This is awesome. First of all, 2013 Topps Allen Ginter might be one of the best looking years, specifically with the autographs. There's just something about it. Works so well. I mean, I say that every year about Ginter, but I love the 2013 version. Cecil, he's one of those guys, if you grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, you remember when he came back on the scene, crushing all those home runs. So, beautiful card. What's up, Brian? Thanks for swinging by. Here's a Dexter Fowler on that 2013. Kevin Youkilis. It's a guy who was in the, he was just a big part of those Red Sox teams there for years. So he was in the postseason kind of year after year. There's another Youkilis. Danny Valencia from Boca Raton, SGC. Maybe talk about SGC a little bit more in an upcoming video. We'll see. Here is a David Ortiz, clutch player. Really well liked in the baseball community. Seems to be a lot of David Ortiz fans out there. Andrew Jones, definitely not the way I remember Andrew Jones. I think of him as an Atlanta Brave, but was a Dodger for a while. So, nice auto there. There's another Lou Piniella. I do have two of them. Reggie Jackson. Beautiful Reggie. 2014 Ginter. And that Oakland Athletics uni. Blue really pops over the yellow jersey. There's a little bit better looking Andrew Jones in that Atlanta Braves uniform. Jones had some monstrous seasons. He really is a borderline Hall of Famer. He's remaining on the ballot. We'll see if he ever finds his way in. I don't know that that'll happen, but this guy, he put up some great offensive numbers and had some great years, tailed off towards the end, but he was an unbelievably talented and fantastic defensive player. And I think oftentimes guys are overlooked for the defensive part of their game. Nomar Garciaparra. Sweet Nomar. Another guy had a great career. Didn't play as long as, I guess he would have liked to compile those numbers to make him Hall of Fame worthy, but he certainly had some Hall of Fame type of seasons. Here's Matt Carpenter, excellent player for the St. Louis Cardinals. Another Edgar Renteria is an Atlanta Brave. Tom Glavine as a New York Met. How about Jim Thome? Had a lot of fun watching Jim Thome in his brief time in Philadelphia. think he was there for, 3 full seasons and 2 partial seasons. But Tomei, a Hall of Famer. And when he came to Philadelphia, that was a reason to celebrate. That was a lot of fun. Chase Utley, one of the all-time Phillies, super big-time fan favorite, had an incredible career, so good. So beautiful Chase Utley there. Tom Gordon, I remember this guy back in '89. I mean, I was like 7 years old, but he was one of the hot rookies people were chasing. He went on to have a very successful career, ended up more of a closer than a starter, but he was all right with the Phillies. I think he actually might have had an all-star season with the Phillies, but did more in other places. But that's an awesome Tom Gordon. Obviously, D. Gordon's father. There's another Tom Gordon. What's up, Vester? And, sometimes you just can't help it and you pick up a couple duplicates. So that's definitely going to happen from time to time. Justin Bohr had an impressive outing in the Home Run Derby a few years ago. This is like the 4th Edgar Renteria. It's at least the 3rd different team. What's up, Dave? Chris Davis. Dude had some impressive home run totals there for a few years. Last year, not as much. Matt Olson. It's a nice rookie there. Really good player for the Athletics. Alonso, but not the Alonso most people are familiar with or collect nowadays. Yonder Alonso. There's another Edwin Encarnacion. This is a 2017 version. Max Kepler. This guy had a dynamite season last year. I think he hit like 35 plus home runs. So Max Kepler. Hall of Famer Craig Biggio. Always an interesting signature. How about Lou Brock? Nice Lou Brock on a 2013. Carlos Carrasco. These guys ended up having a really good year. He was another guy who was a big-time Phillies prospect, and he was involved in the Cliff Lee trade back in 2009, and that trade worked out for both teams ultimately. Cliff Lee helped the Phillies win the pennant, and Carlos Carrasco, I mean, he's been in Cleveland for a decade, and he's been really, really good, so it's a nice one to have in the collection. Here's another Nomar. Definitely always have some duplicates because just sometimes I can't turn down a solid deal on the Ginters. Here's a Pedro Martinez with the New York Mets. Not necessarily the best Ginter autograph just because the signature's over that dark glove so it doesn't pop as well. But Pedro, obviously an all-time great. This is a guy people thought might be an all-time great, Mark Pryor. Had some stellar seasons. Just unfortunately, injuries ended up derailing his career, Mark Pryor. Brandon Phillips. Multiple all-star appearances. Excellent player for the Cincinnati Reds. And actually made the final out of Roy Halladay's postseason no-hitter, which I was lucky enough to be in attendance for. That was awesome. All right, let me check the comments real quick. Goody, what's up? Swing Away Sports Cards, welcome. What's up, Joe? Sports Highlights, what's up, guys? Vester. I don't know about a sale. Probably Tuesday and maybe in the afternoon. We'll see. Joe, I'm not sure if he does. I know I talked to him at the Philly show. What's up, Dean? So for those who just joined live, I am doing this live rather than recording it and uploading it. I'm doing one of my Allen Ginter autograph showcases. This is mostly magnetic cards. I did show off some cards and top loaders to start, but magnetics for my Ginter PC, autograph PC, and I will be doing a slabbed version of this, hopefully in the next day or so. So it will be a lot of fun to show off, and I'm really happy to be doing it. So I appreciate everyone swinging by. All right, here's a nice one here. Cody Bellinger rookie card, signed in beautiful blue Sharpie. So this is one of the pack pulled versions, and these were really tough to hit. So this is pretty awesome here. So really happy that I got this. These were super hot at one point. They actually dropped in price a lot. And then, of course, with Bellinger coming out with the huge year again last year, prices did rise again. I don't really know what the current market value is on it, but I'm definitely happy to have secured it. Sounds good, Joe. I will. I have some stuff I'm trying to put together for you as well. What's up, Nina? Appreciate you stopping by. All right, let's get into the second row here. Oh my goodness, it's another Edgar Renteria. Here is an Atlanta Brave. Former Texas Ranger, which baseball collector used to get to watch live. I believe he's now in the White Sox, if I remember right. I don't remember who he was traded to in the offseason, but Nomar Mazara. Still a young guy. Here's a Hall of Famer, Raleigh Fingers. Raleigh Fingers, usually very affordable, signs a lot, so it's always cool to add an autograph to the collection, especially if it really fits the collection. There's another Lou Brock. Another Tom Glavine. Andrew Jones. I like this Andrew Jones a lot. Dylan Betances. Robinson Cano. Obviously has had an excellent career. George Springer. Wade Davis. Starling Marte. There's another Dexter Fowler. There's another Raleigh. Norris. Derek Norris. I wanted to say Daniel, but I knew it wasn't Daniel. Derek Norris. I think he was a All-Star one year. But I'm pretty sure I bought this one on eBay for 99 cents plus shipping. So you can definitely get these affordable sometimes. This is Sonny Gray. Another Sonny Gray, so I will pick up different variations from time to time. Didi Gregorius, hope to see him take the field with the Phillies at some point this year. That would be amazing, if for no reason other than getting to see some baseball. But we'll see. But that's a nice Didi. Obviously, Didi had some great years with the Yankees, and I was looking forward to seeing him on a one-year deal with the Phillies. Here's another Brandon Phillips, 2012 version. Adam Jones, multiple All-Star appearances with the Baltimore Orioles. Omar Vizquel, potential future Hall of Famer. He's got a shot, remains in the voting, has kind of gone up incrementally over the years. Here's another Didi Gregorius. This is a Yankees version. The last one, he was with the Diamondbacks. Andy Pettit. I know I have a few Pettits because I just can't help but buy him. I mean, this guy, He's one of those guys who, in my opinion, will never reach the Hall of Fame, but he's just going to be one of those legacy type of names that you look back and appreciate. Pitching in a ton of big games on some World Championship Yankees clubs. Obviously, the Yankees, love them or hate them, you know, they're the team that you kind of think about in baseball very often. So that's awesome. There's another Euclid. Hall of Famer John Smoltz. There's a nice signature there. There's another Betances. There's another Pettit. Love that 2013 Pettit. Orlando Hernandez. This is a guy you don't really think about every day at this point, but he pitched some big games too. Had a really nice career. El Duque. Gary Sheffield. 500 home run club, right? It's a nice card. Sheffield, he's another guy I remember back in '89 being one of those hot rookies. Obviously had an excellent career. You know, gets lost in the shuffle due to steroid allegations and stuff like that. And he did bounce around to a bunch of teams, especially at the end of his career. But Sheffield was pretty excellent. How about Frank Robinson? I'm glad I got this when I did. His stuff, autograph-wise, Ginter-wise, has shot up in price over, the last year or so. But that's awesome. Brian, not really. That's probably why you see a few extra duplicates. I mean, I always have an idea of what I have, but I'll pick up. A lot of times I'll knowingly pick up duplicates just because I can't turn down a price, or sometimes they're in lots. Here's a Paul O'Neill. Awesome card there, Paul O'Neill. Another guy, legacy player with the Yankees, part of just classic teams, world champion. Obviously had some great years with the Reds, had that kind of all-time highlight kicking the ball in Cincinnati. Made some appearances on Seinfeld, so there's all the reasons in the world to have a Paul O'Neill autograph. And if it's a Ginter, it's even better. There's another one. Really nice card there. Billy Wagner. Wagner, longest tenured with the Houston Astros, also went to Philadelphia. Got to watch him pitch through those 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, and then he ended up finding his way to New York with the Mets. But that's cool. I basically have all my Ginters separated by top-loaded, magnetics, slabs. I do have a few of the higher-priced ones, and some of them are in slabs. Not that they're crazy high-priced, but I have them separate from time. So here's a Sean Green. Don't really think of him as an Arizona Diamondback, but he was. There's another John Smoltz, different card, 2013. So Johnny Damon is a Cleveland Indian. You kind of think of him as a Red Sox or a Yankee. At least that's the way I think of him, even though he came up in Kansas City. But Cleveland Indian Johnny Damon. I think he was a Ray at the end of his career, too, if I remember right. There's Mark Mulder. Big time with the Oakland Athletics, but had a few seasons with St. Louis as well. There's another Craig Biggio. Livan Hernandez, this guy, he pitched forever. A lot of people don't remember him. Actually, I think he was World Series MVP. I'm thinking back in '97 with the Marlins. I was talking about Edgar Renteria before. Renteria scored the winning run or had the winning hit. He had the winning hit, right? Yeah, I think he had the winning hit and Craig Counsell scored. But Livan Hernandez. There's another Biggio. So I have 1 of 7 and 3 of 7. there's Dennis Eckersley. Someone was talking about Dennis Eckersley before. I have a number of Eckersleys. This one's cool. You don't get a whole lot of the action kind of photos in the Ginters, so it's nice to change it up from time to time, especially, I mean, that card, that's just beautiful looking. Here's one of my favorites. Love this guy growing up. If you grow up around the same time period as me, Jim Abbott, I mean, he was a phenom. He was talked about, one-handed pitcher. He made a guest appearance on Boy Meets World for anyone who saw that show. I mean, Jim Abbott. How can you not have a Jim Abbott autograph in your collection? It's awesome. All right, a couple more in the box, and then I have a few to the side. Hall of Famer Rod Carew. Darryl Strawberry. It's a cool Darryl Strawberry. There's another Orlando Hernandez. This one featured him on the Diamondbacks. Orlando Cepeda. We've got Coco Crisp. A cereal that I'm not a huge fan of, but he was a pretty good ball player. Eric Chavez. This guy was really good for Oakland for a number of years. He was good towards the end of his career, too. Bench player with the Yankees. Cliff Lee. Talked about him before. Was very good with the Phillies. Obviously, won a Cy Young in Cleveland, so wasn't too bad for the Indians as well. Was on a pennant-winning team, if I remember right, with the Texas Rangers. Pitched well in Seattle, so Cliff Lee had a really nice career. Here's Cliff Lee as a Mariner. Tim Raines with the Montreal Expos. So another 101 there. Someone asked how many 101s I have. I'm not really sure offhand. I have a few of them. Honestly, when I buy the Archive Signature Series cards, I use the numbering just to kind of determine how much I might be willing to pay for a card, how many may hit the market at some point. Paul DeYoung. Jose Canseco, another legend of the 80s. One of those guys whose cards have elevated in price over the last year or two as more and more people get back into the hobby. They want to get one of those classic rookies that they remember from their childhood. Because that's one of the big things people are into in the hobby is kind of the nostalgic factor, especially with baseball. So, not a Hall of Famer. Obviously, had some brilliant seasons, had some troubled seasons, but he's one of those guys that is just such a household name. Like, people remember you. So, Jose Canseco, it's a pretty cool one there. Derek Lee. Had some really nice years. There's another Carlos Carrasco. Josh Hader. Pretty simple signature, but nice card. Excellent pitcher. Big arm. David Peralta. Jed Lowry. He is a photographer on the side. I got him TTM in the past, and he would send like a business card with links to his photos along with it. Here's a Mitch Moreland, another Texas Ranger there. Domingo Santana. Here's one that people will like here. How about Ricky Henderson? Ricky Henderson, Hall of Famer, super popular, very collectible. Very expensive if you were to get his autograph, say, at a show or something. So you were way better off purchasing a signature of Ricky Henderson. He's not super cheap, but way cheaper than paying to get it signed in person. Franklin Barreto. Ian Kinsler, 101 Texas Rangers actions, baseball collector. I like that one. Freddie Freeman. It's a nice Freddie Freeman. Roy Oswalt. It's a nice one. Oswalt had another guy, had some really good years, had some years where he was in the Cy Young battles, multiple All-Star appearances, and played left field in a game for the Phillies. Mike Fultonevich. There's another Jed Lowry, this time as a Boston Red Sox. Coming up to the last 10 cards or so, guys. Here is a Marwin Gonzalez, really good player. Big addition for the Twins last year. Here is Kyle Seager. I don't know what my favorite is. I like 2018 a lot. I like the one I just showed, which is 2014. I'm a big fan of 2013. I mean, I do like them all, but, some are a little better than others. That was Steven Souza Jr. Here's a second Gary Sheffield. Got Alex Bregman on a rookie. Obviously, his stock has fallen a little bit, but either way, his career is off to a really nice start. He has a lot to prove, of course, to win people's trust back, but it's a cool one. 2017 Ginter, I've gotten used to him, but I would say this is not necessarily one of my favorite ones. Here is a Chipper Jones. That is a solid 101 there. Larry Wayne, Chipper Jones, Hall of Famer. Absolutely crushed the Phillies. I can't tell you how many times I saw him round the bases against Phillies pitching. Gene Segura, definitely not quite the same class as Chipper Jones. This is one I think I actually just showed off recently, the Hunter Pence. Really cool. Definitely a dual PC type of card. Phillies autograph collection, kind of odd Phillies collection because he wasn't there long, and Ginter collection. So that's awesome. Love that one a lot. There's another Reggie Jackson. It's a cool one there. And the last unique card I'm showing off is a Roy Halladay from 2007. And I agree, Brian, 2007 is a nice year. This is not one of my favorites just because the signature over the black doesn't pop as much. Plus, also, honestly, I'm a huge fan of the Blue Jays' current/old uniforms with the bright blue. Not a big fan of the black uniforms. But I'm obviously a big fan of Roy Halladay, so that's awesome to have in the collection there. So the final card I'll show off is the one that I was showing off, and it's in the thumbnail, is the beautiful 2013 Topps Allen Ginter Sandy Koufax. Absolutely amazing. So I was really thrilled when I was able to pick this one up. Just fantastic. So beautiful, beautiful card. Really happy to have it in the collection. I hope everyone who joined live and everyone who watches this one on archived enjoyed the video. I enjoy sharing the collection. Definitely don't do it as much as I'd like to. You kind of get stuck in that making mail day type of videos, and then I'll do PSA reveals and stuff like that. But I will be back with part 3 soon, maybe as early as tomorrow. We'll see. If not, hopefully a few days after that. But I will be sharing my slabbed PSA DNA collection of Allen Ginter autographs. And then I do have a bunch, I say a bunch, probably like 20 to 40 that are in semi-rigids that are supposed to be going out to PSA DNA, should that become an option again sometime, hopefully soon. We'll see. But I will be doing a video on that as well. Have some other content coming up. Maybe the occasional box break, but not too crazy with that. Do have another mail day that will be released soon. And, keep coming up with some ideas. Show some stuff off. Have fun. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, I'll have an SGC reveal video. So we'll see. Appreciate everyone watching. If I did not get to your comments, I apologize. Have yourselves a great one. Be safe. Be smart. And just have a great day, guys. Thank you so much as always.